So hello. I need to remind myself of looking that way. It's very strange. My name is Ines, and I have just turned 27 on the 6th of December of last year. I'm a Sagittarius with Cancer and Moon and Ascendant and Moon in the Western astrology. And some things about myself. Well, I paint. That's one of the things that I do. That one is all full. I wish you could see it actually much better. That one is like full pencil, and this one is in progress. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with it, to be quite honest. That one is finished. It's quite a big one, large one. And that one is a big, large one as well. I have another one that's really cool one. Wish I had it here to show it, which is it's like a huge blue eye. I have it on my Instagram, and it's a huge blue eye with the snake around the iris of the eye. And some things about myself. I was born and raised in Portugal. Started traveling around the world when I was 20. Before that, I'd only been to the islands in Portugal, which is like in Azores, the archipelagos, and Spain, obviously. Like we'd go even like with school field trips. My first big trip was when I was 20 years old, and that was to Thailand and to Bali with a friend. And in the same year, I fell in love with the freedom of traveling and the freedom of you get to do whatever the heck you want with your whole day. I mean, there's different ways of traveling, but that's just the way that I did it. And so I went on to Japan for 7 or 8 weeks by myself. Made friends, so spend most of my time with friends that I made there, that I have to this day, to be quite honest, and then I've traveled with again. And that's one of my favorite places on earth is Japan. Like anytime I can stop there, I'll just go there. I traveled to the US, like Los Angeles, Seattle a few times because my friend is from there, and through Europe, like France, Italy, Switzerland, Spain, obviously, Ireland, and those were all during like the COVID times, like when everything was stopped times, the road trip around Europe. Other than that, every single time I get to travel, I choose to go somewhere far away. I just came back from Peru for a month, and I stayed there for a whole month. Went like Lima, Cusco, went to the Amazon for 4 days, which was one of my favorite things I've ever done in my whole life. Like I've had this obsession with the Amazon since I was a child, and we have Carnival instead of Halloween, and for a few years on a row, I would always dress myself as a witch. But I remember clearly for a few years, my favorite costume was being like an indigenous person, which we called at the time Indian people. Obviously they're not Indian, but that's just how we used to call them. And yeah, that was I've always known that I was gonna go there, and randomly I had no idea you could actually go there from Cusco, and you can, to Manu Park, which is the southern part of the Amazon, and there's no problem with malaria or any of those. I didn't have to get any shots. It was completely fine. Honestly, the mosquito flies were way more annoying than the mosquitoes themselves. So anyway, I'm not done with the places, I guess. I forgot about that one. India, obviously, because I've talked about it on this channel. stayed there for 3 months, then stopped in Japan and went to Hawaii for 3 months. I lived in the Big Island for 2 weeks in close to Pahoa, and then I lived in Maui in Hana for 2 months and a half, around that, something like that. And then I left Seattle and then stopped over and whatnot. And yeah, that was a big, big, big trip. And then this past year, 2025, I went to Bali again on a trip because I just felt like I had to go there. And when I was in Bali, I think I've talked about the story from Bali, like, because I love doing like retreats and workshops and things like that related to more spiritual kind of open your consciousness kind of stuff. And I'll just look there because it's way easier for me. And that really opened up my voice, and that's when I started like, okay, I'm gonna start posting because I've had this idea to do this for like probably more than like 10 years. But I just kept procrastinating it or thinking that I wasn't good enough, but I am. And it is something that I like and something that I enjoy because I love talking to myself, and now I'm just recording it and sharing it with people. So it's basically something I'm gonna do regardless of a camera being in front of me or not. Like, since I was a child, I would basically sit down in front of the mirror and just talk to myself, and that's how I would like resolve things that would bother me in some way. 1 second. It's getting it's been really cold here, and I just turned off the heater because it was getting really hot here now. Suddenly, after such a long time of freezing. Um, yeah, went to Bali, and then like I was gonna go to Thailand, so I went to Thailand, and I was in Bangkok for 3 days, and everyone kept just going to Chiang Mai, go to Chiang Mai. And I do want to go to Chiang Mai because I feel like it's a place that my soul will resonate with very, very deeply. But I just wasn't feeling it. And I had just like randomly met so many Chinese people all the way, all my journey towards like even before arriving to Bali, I kept meeting Chinese people, and so I just felt like I feel like the door to go to China is finally open, and it's so easy now. Like you can just go up to 30 days. You don't need any visa. You can just book the ticket and get there, which they changed in, I believe, November of 2024. So I decided to go to China. And so I did. And I spent there only 8 days in Chengdu, but it was so fun. And it was another one of those moments of like, I've always said I was going to come to China, and I did. Like, I know that what I say, and I truly, truly know in my heart it is happening, that it will. And it sure does. So that was a fun one. And then I came back a few months later because I had to work. I went to Peru now with a friend. And I'm back home now again. So not many places, but quite exotic ones. I love tropical places especially. And I'm thinking going to Australia next. Because I've been wanting to go there for the past like 3 years, 4 years maybe, that it's been on my mind, but I just keep going to other places instead of that one. So 2026 feels like the year that the doors are opening towards that way. And yeah. Next question. Am I in a relationship? No. I am not in a relationship. I have never been in a relationship before. I've never had a boyfriend in my life. I've met a lot of guys, and I've had like, I would say, very impactful friendships. And yeah, but it just never happened. I've been thinking, like, I think about that sometimes because, like, I'm feeling like it's time now, but I just haven't, I just haven't developed that relationship with anyone. For some reason, like, something in me. Other people would say it's fear, and it might be out of like the fact of how much sharing life with someone else impacts your own life, and I'm someone who is very keen into keeping my independence, but there's a lot of people that are like that as well, so that's not really the thing. And I would say it's more like it's just never felt right, and I'm the kind of person that it really has to feel right even when I go somewhere. Like, it has to be of like it feels right. And yeah, it just hasn't. So that's another fact about me. More questions. What's my favorite country? My favorite country so far, I don't really have like a favorite country. Like, Japan is up top there, but I don't feel like I would live there like full time. And Hawaii, like I could stay in Hawaii for a long time, but I'd need to stay closer to the city because you have like a lot more independence to go places and a lot more things to like go to. You have places to go shopping because where I was in Hannah, it was like there was two supermarkets, were not very big, and the options were very limited. And it was fine because I love remote places, but long term, like it would have to be somewhere closer to a city, like with a lot of more amenities. And yeah, I would live in Australia. I've never been there. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I do feel like that would be a place I would live in. Other than that, I'm not sure where I would live. I I live in Portugal currently, sort of. But I really feel like I'm meant to live abroad. And I'm already 20, not already, like I'm 27 and I still have my permanent residence is still here. Well, I do want to, yeah, move on. This is very fun to talk with this thing because I've done this since I was a child. But now I'm recording it for people to see, even if that's just one person. Um, I hope the things I share are insightful in some way. I'm in general a very like philosophical kind of person, so the journal passages and anything that I record are all things that I would have conversations with myself about. So it's just something that I'm sharing because I feel like that gives me a lot more joy and a lot more balance within than other types of jobs. Yeah. I guess I could talk about when did I start painting? Well, I started painting when I was, well, no one taught me how to paint. I I think I remember like I've always just been able to draw for some reason. My brother he's a tattoo artist, and like he would just like I remember like this one time he handed me like one of those like old style like kid story like newspaper things, something like that, like a magazine for kids with like these drawings of like a cartoon, and he was like, draw that. And I just did it, and it looked very, very, very similar. And I might have been like 8 when I did that. And then I never really paid too much attention to it. I've just always been able to do it. And we have art classes in school all throughout up to high school. No, high school you have to choose, but all the way up to like until you finish middle school. And no, all elementary, I don't know how to say it. It's like up to ninth grade. And then from then on forward you choose, which I did choose arts. So I chose arts because in ninth grade we had to do a paint, and I chose to do like, I should have brought it to show it, I guess. It's like this ballerina with the mirrored glass and everything. She was like on the ground, and I was like, I just needed to be in oil paint, which is the harder one to paint with. And but I had this fixation, it has to be oil, and I did the absolute best that I did. And obviously it's not perfect, but it was like really, really, really good for someone who's never been like taught or anything like that. I just looked and I did the exact same thing. So I was like, I really have a knack for this. Like there's something about it. And sometimes if you get into this flow and you just like really concentrate on it, you get into like this flow and you're not thinking, and the time goes by super fast. And like, I don't know, you can just, I think in anything you love to do, if you get into that flow, you can really experience that feeling and that sensation in your being, as if like it's almost like you enter this state of like being in a dream. So that was one of the reasons why I chose arts. And then I ended up only painting another painting when I was in school, which is like a landscape. That was really good as well. And after that I didn't paint, but I kept having this nudge within me that was like, you should paint, you need to paint, you should paint, you need to paint. And so I started painting when I was like the big stretch when I took it more seriously. And I did this one was, and I did this one, which looks better in the unmirrored option. Yeah, it's that good. It is. It was 2020 when everything shut down. I was like, I'm not going to work every day, so I would just paint for hours on. Like I would just paint and I would do my routine, my yoga, meditation, writing and reading, and I would just do my walks, my long 1 hour, 2 hour walks in nature. And I started creating a bunch. And then it lifted off and I started off traveling again, and it stopped for a bit because when you're traveling, like, and doing oil paintings is not the most easy thing to do. It really requires, for me, I need like to feel settled in a place in order to paint. But I'm feeling like painting again. I started off trying to do acrylic, but let's just say that my huge preference is just oil. So this, well, that is oil, fresh oil that I did yesterday morning before work at 6 a.m. from 6:30 to 7:30, like a whole hour just passed by without me noticing. And then I have to like do all the other things I have to do before I have to go to work and leave the house at 8:30. So an hour. And yeah, I'm still figuring out where this one is gonna go. I hope the sound is good because I am all over the place. This is a very raw video, so I hope anyone that watches likes it. Yeah, likes it. Yeah, any more questions? Any more like interesting facts about me? I love to swim. Love the ocean. Traveling to places with the ocean are one of my favorite things. Like Hawaii, I feel like I live in a place that has amazing beaches, but because I don't have a car, well, that's another fact about me. Because I choose to travel, I use that money to buy plane tickets to places very, very far away from Portugal. So I don't really have a car that I can use here. So I end up not going to the beach that many times. And when I was in Hawaii, I just, I loved that I was so close to the ocean and that we could go into the water a lot more frequently. And that just sort of like cleans my soul. That could be my Cancer moon in ascendant. That really, like, if I need to clean myself and my soul and my emotions, I take a bath. And that's like, that really, really helps me. Really, really does. Traveled a bunch. I paint. I do yoga, meditation. Mm. I wonder if I should share about why I got into philosophical stuff. That's a whole story, though. If anyone wants to hear, short form story. Like I've always had experiences when I was a child. Um, they are more sporadic now, but there was a period of time where they happened a lot, and I've always had like and do have like extremely vivid dreams that it's almost like I wake up and I was like I was in a different dimension. And sometimes I can wake up within the dream as well. So that really when I was around 17, before that, like 16, 17, probably before that, I was already into like magical and like what is reality and consciousness and all of those kind of stuff. But that's when I started really, really researching about it and getting into all of these things and realizing like, why did these things happen? And what was that happened to me? And what is that? I thought everyone experienced that. But when I ask people, no one does. And I found like all throughout many religions and ways of practice, there are like things that speak about those kinds of experiences. And I resonate a lot with the Hinduism culture and the yogi culture a lot and the Tibetan Buddhism. But I can't see myself really, how would you say, like, can't really see myself belonging to a religion because I feel that to be very limiting. And I feel like I'm in this journey to become my own authority as a person and to stop looking for institutions and other people to tell me what are the rules and what's correct and what's not, and to use my own inner wisdom for that. So I read a bunch and I am so open to do like retreats and like having teachers from any of those religions and those kinds of cultures, but it's very much a path of my own that I create out of my own independent wisdom and discernment, I would say. This is a long one, so I think my battery's running low now. So I'm gonna sign off. Thank you so much for anyone that listens to these videos. I am very grateful. And yeah, thank you so much. Let me know if you have any more questions for me or like subjects to go into and that I could share about my life experience as well and like the things that I've experienced that lead me to certain ways of thought or belief, I guess. So thank you so much. Oh, that finally worked. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye. Ciao. Just realized that the microphone wasn't working this whole time and I'm holding it like this the whole time. So it's just
The phone's audio. Now it's working. I figured it out.